right, guys. Welcome to another episode of True Bench. You already know what we do. You know what we talk about. Match week 12 has come and has gone, and there's a lot to talk about. But before we jump into the conversation, we have another guest today. I'm not. I'm glad that he's here, but I'm not super excited that he's finally here. I will let him introduce himself. First name is fine, and the club you support. I mean, I think the audience can already see what you're wearing and why you support such a club that hasn't won the Premier League in 20 something years. So let us know.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Wally. Thank you, Sukkie, for opportunity to join you guys. I've been watching you for a little bit, and to be honest with you, I actually do enjoy the podcast a lot. Saw the takes, saw the comments, and sometimes the head scratching comment by Sukkie sometimes just cracks me up a lot. And yes, my name is Tolu, and I support Arsenal, just like you guys can see. And I don't think my story is very different from most Nigerian Arsenal supporters. I started watching Arsenal quite in the maybe mid 90s or late 90s. Back in the days when one of the NTA stations started showing Premiership a little bit. At the time, not a lot of Nigerians in the Premiership. I think it was Babayaro. Maybe Omakachi joined later Everton.
Yeah.
Then Kano. But for me at the time, I was just, following all Nigerian players into the Premiership, just want to watch them and see how they progress. But at the time, I just had a special interest in Arsenal. And I think it was with Ian Wright at the time. I don't know anything about him that much, but I just
liked him.
Maybe because he was a black guy that was scoring, and I just I pick interest in him. But not like, I was supporting them big time. But anytime they were playing and this guy's scoring and people mention his name, I was just like, okay, I want to see. Then Adea could join. Then when Kanu joined, it was like, okay, it's becoming more interesting. Not until when Henry joined that, he just sealed it for me. It was like, it was a no-brainer. So, since then I started watching and, I just couldn't stop it. Even during the days of, what Sukkie and you guys are suffering now. We've been through that stage. We kept supporting.
Calm down. We are still going through it.
Who is going through it? No, we are no longer there. We've left you guys there.
You win the Premier League, you are still there.
Okay, well, maybe. But for me, the feel like going into any match and not sure if you're going to win or being scared of the opponents, those days are, far behind us now, for me personally. Because, back in the days, you were playing even Northampton, sometimes you're scared because anything can happen. But now playing Liverpool, I don't even see us as underdogs anymore. I feel like anybody come, I don't think we can lose any game.
You have a point in that. You have a point in that.
Yeah. I don't think we cannot lose any game, but I just feel like, I don't think we can win every game, but I just think that it's going to be difficult for any team to beat us right now, personally. Like, not like we can lose, but for you to beat us, you're going to work hard. And that's, the feeling is different. So, that's my little story.
Fantastic. Tolu, thanks for joining. And I think there's a lot to talk about today. Hopefully, we'll talk about a little bit about Arsenal as well, because we want you to give some color to some of the things that we're saying. So, as usual, we'll start with the headlines from match week 12. Many headlines, that we saw or that came up over the weekend. None bigger than Liverpool and their predicament. So Liverpool, they've lost 6 of their last 7 games. They've lost 6 out of their 12 games played so far. This time last season, they had 31 points. Now they only have 18. This time last season, they've won 9, drawn 4, and only lost that game to Nottingham Forest. So now between them, who are the defending champions, and Arsenal, who are the leaders, they are 11 points. The biggest difference at this stage that has been overcome by an eventual champion was Man United, 8 points in 2002 and 2003 season, as well as 96-97 season. So we already know where this is going from a Liverpool standpoint. But that's not the only story, this weekend. Leeds United, they're beginning to get into trouble. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games, only 1 win. And they have City, Chelsea, and Liverpool coming up as their next 3 games.
0
So
points.
you can imagine where we might be in 3 weeks talking about Leeds United.
0 points.
And then Spurs have started being Spursy all over again. I mean, on this show, there was a lot of praise for Thomas Frank and what he's doing with Tottenham Hotspur. In fact, there were 2 weekends back to back where we said he was the manager of the Premier League of the week because of the fantastic job that he's doing. But they've only managed 1 win in 5 games. And lastly, we just saw United lose an unlikely game against Everton. I mean, we thought United was around they've turned the corner. Sukkie was, saying that maybe Amorim is the best coach in the
I
league,
never
and
said
it was
that.
backed up.
I never said that.
It was backed up because Amorim actually won the manager of the month. So, but now they've played against 10-man Everton and they lost at home. So a lot coming out from the weekend. I just want you guys to take any of these headlines, run with it. Let's know your thoughts and perspective on any one of them.
Let's just be very clear. What I said was I will not get carried away with Man U's success in just those few games. I needed to see consistency. And like I said, and like I thought, I shouldn't get carried away, and thank God I did not. Moving on. Arsenal, Tottenham. Let's talk about that. What's going on with Tottenham?
No, we will get to Arsenal Tottenham as part of our review. But I just want you guys to comment on any of
I'll
this.
start
The
first
state
with,
of Liverpool, for example, is a good place to
I'll
start.
get to Liverpool later, but I want to start with Leeds. And
Okay.
I think you said they've lost 5 games in like 6.
Yeah.
It's 6 games.
Yeah.
And they've got City, Chelsea, Liverpool coming. And looking at that, for me personally, on papers, I don't think they've got any chance, get even a draw against any of those teams, considering the way they've been playing and losing games. And funny thing is, I've watched them a couple of times, and it's not as if they play so badly. But you can just tell that complex of maybe just coming from championship is still there, or that last ditch confidence or push that you need. They just don't have it.
The quality in the last
final third. That quality in the final third, they just don't have it. They're quite good. Sometimes you see them play very good games, play some shot, but you can just tell that, that grit that you need to survive the Premiership. You can take the example of Wolves. Wolves, in like 4 or 5 seasons now, they in like 20 games into the season, sometimes they like bottom 3. And when it matters, they just fight their way through it. And not just because of anything, because of the fact that they've been there before. They know what to do when it gets to that stages. But the teams like Leeds and the kind of players that they have, I feel like they're going to struggle with. They're just one of those teams that will come up and go back down, personally. No offense to them. They have their game, but they're going back. So that's my thought around Leeds for now. So, Sukkie, you can go ahead with...
I mean, regarding Leeds... I watched their game. I mean, I'm not going to say they play bad football by any stretch of our imagination. But like you said, they don't have a strong midfield. And they don't have anybody finishing. They don't have anybody finishing. Now, they brought in Calvert-Lewin as maybe their main striker. And we know that Calvert-Lewin is very, very flaky. He's a very flaky striker. He has never consistently delivered, so when you bring in that kind of player into your team, when you are looking at a team like Sunderland that cleaned out and brought, players that can deliver in the Premier League and can compete, and then their next 3 games, I say 0 points out of 9, in my own opinion. I mean, I don't think that even at Liverpool's worst, I don't think Liverpool will lose to Leeds. I don't think so, and I don't think they'll draw against Leeds. They have too much ammunition and firepower to stumble upon Leeds, and so in my own opinion. So I think like we've all said, Leeds might not survive, but it's still too early to say. It's just 12 games in. There's still a whole 26 games to go. So yeah.
I mean, I agree with you guys. I just think that they lack the cutting edge. Sometimes it still feels like they are a championship team with that lack of cutting edge. Because with the cutting edge, I think like yesterday against Aston Villa, they had a number of chances
Okay, yeah.
to have stretched that lead to like 2 or 3 in the first half. But they allowed Aston Villa to go in just 1-0. If you're 1-0 ahead, you're still, behind, you're still in the game. They came back. Unai Emery changed things around. He brought 2 players, Marvin and I think he brought in someone else. And Rogers was just unplayable yesterday.
I
And
like that Rogers guy.
and
I really like him.
yeah, they will see teams like that with the cutting edge that they don't have. But granted, January window will open up again. They might bring in a couple of players that can help them. Who knows? They might change the manager if the result continues this way. And if they do those 2 things, who knows where they might be come the end of the season. But I agree that there's still time. Liverpool. I heard something by Higginbotham, or what was his name again? An analyst on NBC today, and he gave a perspective that I hadn't really thought about so much, and I thought it was kind of brilliant what he said. He said if you look at the Liverpool team last season, 2 seasons ago, under Klopp, one of the greatest strengths that they have is defending from the front. Their press was intense,
Immaculate.
that
It was
when they
immaculate.
press you and I started thinking about it, when they press you like that, all you can do as the opposing team is to just keep ballowing and kicking the ball out. They don't give you time to actually pass the ball and execute your plan. And before you know it, you are 2, 3 goals down, and that's the end of the game. And I said, yes, under Klopp, these guys used to be like that. Mane, all these guys in front will just press you to death.
Mane,
And today,
Firmino,
you
yeah.
actually don't see that in a Liverpool team. Is that
Mm.
the only reason? Maybe not. But that could be like the fabric of the team that has now been lost and is impacting them in other ways. I don't know what you guys think.
For
Liverpool is
me,
in trouble.
I
Yeah.
totally have a different perspective about Liverpool in comparison to what you said. Some of the things that you said, I think, make sense. And if you think back, that's the way they used to play, and they put pressure on you so much that you'll be forced to make mistakes. They score so many goals based on that. But for me, what I see is like I've seen this coming, even though you can't be 100% with anything in football. Anything can change. But I've seen signs of can they maintain this level? If I'll give you an example, try the whole of last season. Okay, let me start like this. First and foremost, what Slot had last season was what Klopp was meant to enjoy. You prepare something so good, and the final period when you meant to enjoy it, you left it, and someone just came. And I don't think it did much. It was just the players were there, the motivations were there, and everything for them to win it was there. And unfortunately, Man City wasn't Man City, Arsenal wasn't Man City, Arsenal. So it was like easy win for them. So, but what I'm trying to say is, if you look at them properly, last season, who was the best player? No,
Salah,
sorry,
you mean?
Salah. I was going to say Salah.
Salah.
Yeah, Salah. Sorry, I was going to say Salah. What he did last season was incredible. It was breaking record upon record. And for me, I feel like at that age, that is not sustainable. He won so many games for them last season. He dug them out of big troubles last season. Last minute games, last minute winning, and everything. And for me, I like this season. You can't guarantee getting the same Salah that you got last season this season. And if you think about it again, Salah this season has been horrible. And Liverpool has been horrible. Is that a coincidence? Maybe if Salah has been on his game, maybe Liverpool would have been winning. It will cover all those cracks for them and you won't see it. So Salah, for me, was the key for them winning last season. And the fact that he's 32 now, 33 is not sustainable. You can't guarantee having that all season. And again, the fact that Jota, what happened to Jota happened, is going to be a little bit demoralizing to some of the players and affect their coordination a little bit. And again, that guy that left for Bayern, I think that guy was
Trent
key.
Arnold. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We've talked
He
about
was
it on the
key
show
because
before.
that's one of those players that help to
He linked up
defend
with
from.
Salah. Yeah.
Exactly. They don't allow you. You can't even break. You can't even pass the ball from your defense because they will keep pressurizing you. So they don't have that this season. And most of the players are quite new. Not like they're not good players, but getting the same kind of intensity that they had last season or in previous seasons, they don't have it now. So that's my perspective. Salah is a major factor. The fact that, they're aging as well, their defense is a little bit suspect, and all those things happening, definitely, I think they're out of title race anyway. So
one quick point about the Salah thing. I mean, I understand what you mean by, he's aging and all that. And I think that's what good teams do. They have sort of succession planning. They recognize players that are no longer at the peak of their career because of age, and they plan to bring others in. And I think that's why Liverpool went with
Get
deep
players
pockets
yeah.
in the summer to buy players. So I think the club recognizes what you're saying. I think what has not happened is these players that cost so much, Isaac, Florian Wirtz, all these guys that are not playing to their potential. I think that's really where the issue is. So the idea is even if Salah doesn't perform like he did last season, there's enough ingredient there's enough talent in
the
that
question is,
team,
even with
to
all
make it
those
work.
big money players that they bought, even
Yeah.
if they perform to their potential,
Yeah.
I don't think any of them is in the level of Salah if Salah is playing.
No, they
That's
don't
me.
have to be.
Like
They don't have to be at that
They
level.
just have to play
They don't have to be
good
at that
football.
level. Salah is still there. It's just not at the level where. So if others can come in and complement and bridge the gap, they will still get good results. If Isaac has come in and has 12 games or played 10,
And I
maybe he has
scored 6
scored
goals.
9 already.
Yeah.
That would make a
Yeah.
difference. But he hasn't even scored. It does not even look like he's going to score anytime soon. And that's where I think
But
some of the
let me
problems are.
address something you said. One
Sukkie,
of
do
the
you want
first
to add to it before we move?
one of the first things you said about club preparing something and the slots just feeding off of it.
Yeah.
With all due respect, I respect Jurgen Klopp, and I'm not trying to take away from anything he has done or said or have done with Liverpool. But at the end of the day, this is the Premier League, right? He had the team.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to win the league with the team. But Arne Slot came.
He won the league once.
He won the league once, yes. But I'm saying at least the team the season before he left, and this, so he had that same team.
Yeah.
He carried them through a whole season. He wasn't able to win the league with them. He didn't win the league. And the slot came, whether you say, it was prepared for him or not, you still have to be able to manage the team for a whole season for them to win the Premier League. Right? If you look at the points difference between Liverpool and Man City and Arsenal or whatever last season, it wasn't a wide gap. It wasn't like he won by 12 points or 17 points to say he ran away with this. But my point is, the other teams too also played. They competed.
No.
It was wide. It was wide up until the last few weeks of the season when they relaxed. It was already over. It was already over.
Yeah, but they competed. The other teams competed. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Not really. Last season was a one-horse race.
Yeah. I just feel like winning the Premier League is not a lucky thing for a whole season. In my own opinion, it's not by luck you win the Premier League for a whole season. Do you understand? So I cannot take away from what Arne Slot did last season and say that it was a lucky win for him. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't take away from what
I don't think so. If anything.
Sorry. Yeah. Let me quickly paint one point here. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not saying he won it by luck, But in terms of the way Premiership has been in the past 3, 4, 5 seasons, where people will put pressure on you, he wasn't under any kind of pressure throughout. So maybe if he has faced pressure a little bit, let's see how he handled it. But for him, it was just, if he loses, Arsenal will lose. If he draws, Arsenal will. So there was no pressure like somebody like tagging you all the way through.
But that's not his fault that the other teams were not stepping
I'm
up.
not saying it's his fault. What I'm saying is, okay, look at the season now. He couldn't cope with it. You know, he lost one game,
They
lost
lost
2
only
games.
they
He
lost
couldn't
only 2 games last season, all right? Only 2 games. They
Yeah.
lost only 2 games last
2
season,
games
right?
last season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nottingham and
I think the best thing he did in retrospect, and this is in hindsight, all of us looking at last season because last season is gone. I think the best thing he did last season was not tweaking that team
yeah,
too
Yeah.
much. Just
Yeah.
letting it play out the way he met
exactly.
it. Because some other,
That
and
in
that's
itself is a
brilliant.
strategy.
Some other coaches will come in and say, this is not the way I play. This is this, and they would just scatter it. And so to Suki's point, I think we still have to give him credit. It's very difficult to come into this league, especially first time in the league, no prior experience. You come in, whether your team is the best assembled in the world or not, but you still come in and you did the business almost effortlessly. I think he has the credit for that. But that's gone. That's gone. He has to respond to the crisis they are in right now, and we'll see how that unfolds. Especially now that games are going to come thick and fast, into the new year. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go into the 3 games that we were going to really analyze on the show today. The first one is Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. We've talked a lot about Liverpool and the crisis that they're in. I think in that game, we need to also look at what Nottingham Forest did differently and how they've been responding under the new coach,
And
Sean Dyche, that has come in and has sort of changed the philosophy and outlook of the team. The second game is, to me, the most interesting game of the weekend. Newcastle City.
fantastic
That
game.
was
Fantastic
high
game.
pressure, high velocity game. It was back to back. Like I said in my review, that game could have been 5-3, 4-2, 6-4, whatever it was. It was a thoroughly enjoyable game of football. And then the last one is your team. In fact, I think we'll give you the floor to just analyze this Arsenal Tottenham game. I won't say anything. I'm sure Sukkie doesn't mind ceding the floor to you to just gloat about Eberechi Eze and how good he is. So let's start from wherever you guys want to pick it up. Those are the 3 games.
If we
I don't
start
know
with the
what's-
Liverpool game, I don't know I hope you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
I have to give credit to Nottingham Forest. Absolutely. Not taking away from the way they played. Sean Dyche has obviously not just changed the formula in that team, he has also changed the mentality in that team. You can clearly see that they have a different mentality. They've shifted from a, depraved losing mentality to now we can win games, we can compete, But I would not even take away from Liverpool. It's not like Liverpool played badly in that game. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they played badly in that game. I mean, matter of fact, I think it is in this game that I've seen Mo Salah play the best this season in the Premier League, if you ask me.
It seems like it went for he did everything in that game.
Exactly. So it just wasn't falling for them. For some reason, I don't know if you guys noticed, almost all their strikes were going high up. I don't know why. Way over the bar. It was just, for me, I noticed like at least 6 chances that they could have maybe not buried, but the way they overshot the goal for me was like, okay, what is going on with Liverpool? But again, when you're not winning games, that's what happens. You lose confidence. So I think that's part of, because they didn't play badly. I wouldn't say it was a poor performance. Like against City, that was a poor performance. I wouldn't call this a poor performance, in my own opinion.
That's a good analysis. For me, I'll just look at it from this way. I think Liverpool is going through the same thing Nottingham Forest went through at the beginning of the season. Because, this is a team that almost came fourth last season. For you to know that they're not a bad team either. They're actually quite good. They didn't sell any of their players. or I can't remember if they sold one or two, but they still have core majority or the core member of that team still there. So you can tell that they're actually a good team. And it just shows sometimes what a good manager can bring into a team. A team that is down morally, with lots of morale, just need somebody to help them spark their energy. What I saw, was just more like a team being revitalized from the dead, and they just came back because they fought back for every single second ball.
They
They
won
didn't
all the
sit
second
back
balls. Yeah.
passively. Yeah, they didn't sit back passively and waiting that, okay, you know what, Liverpool will score. They fought hard for every single second ball, and they took their chances well. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is actually a good team. As in, if they catch you, they will beat you if you're not careful. And I can just see the confidence coming back. And I think the rest of the big teams should be careful. Don't think they are just one of those teams that you beat and get your 3 points. I think Sean Dyche is a defensive coach.
Yeah.
Even though, they maintain this defensive discipline, but they are going forward is very, very spot on. They don't make mistakes. The right passes, boom, they score. And that's it. So, I feel like they did well.
So yeah, and that's what I wanted to pick up. What I've seen, because I watch Nottingham Forest a lot for whatever reason. But what I've seen since the new coach came in is the freedom that he has given to his midfielders, especially Gibbs White and Anderson. Uh, Anderson, if you watch Anderson, even in the England setup, he has been playing really well. It's only a matter of time. I don't know for how long Nottingham Forest can keep that guy. Is very good. The rate of him breaking up play is impressive. Maybe next show I'll look for that data. But even offensively, it helps because he has energy, he has drive, and we know how good Gibbs White can be offensively and creatively. See the way he took the goal he scored. I mean, only
Yeah.
a very and it's not even a right-footed, it's not a left-footed player. But he just took it and he surprised Allison. Before Allison could get down, the ball was already in the net. That's
That's
how
another good example of
creative
winning the
and
second
energetic.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how creative those guys are. So he's done something to Tolu's point. Yes, he's a very defensive coach. And they're beginning to keep clean sheets. He has tightened that back and he has unlocked the creativity in that midfield. And with energy and drive that they have, it's a warning to other teams. Let everybody not think that it's because Liverpool is weak and that's why Nottingham Forest
Exactly.
won. They need to give some credit to Nottingham Forest as well
Yeah.
for
Oh,
winning
yeah, I
and
love them.
winning really well in that game. Second game is Arsenal, Tottenham. Is his game, Patrick, whatever,
God,
act
no.
of God, all that stuff. Tolu, how impressed were you with your team on the day?
I was extremely, happy and very surprised. I
Yeah,
had a feeling that we're going to beat them, but 4-1 is unbelievable. I felt like even watching the preview and
The
highlights
highlight.
eventually, I feel like it could be that game could have ended like 6-0 if we take our
possibly,
chances. And
possibly.
6-0, but they scored one now, but they scored one by 6-0.
but you see the one that they scored now. That anybody could have scored. Even me would score that goal with my eyes closed.
No,
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 actually,
no,
quite the
no,
opposite. Not a lot of people will score
no.
that goal, but let's leave that aside because
But
that
that
will be
was a
one
really
of the
good goal,
goals
to
of
be
the
honest with you.
season.
That was a
So
really,
not
really
everybody
good
can
goal.
score that
Fantastic
goal.
goal.
Yeah,
Take nothing away
Yeah.
from that goal.
It was.
Fantastic
I
goal.
think a lot of people try it and they don't get it right. It was
exactly,
instant and you have to do it. You have to be precise with it. I saying
exactly.
even Ryan was going back, he was trying, but that ball was so good that there was
Yeah,
no way he could get it. So,
exactly.
kudos to him. But
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say is I didn't expect us to beat them that well,
yeah,
considering the rivalry. Tottenham could be bad all season, but when it comes to Arsenal, their A game comes out. But
yeah,
this case, we were just like we dominated the game from the beginning to the end. In as much as I wasn't surprised that we beat them, I was surprised of the scoreline. But if I think back again, watching their game against Man United, I felt like I saw it coming because they were so poor in that game as well. I like this team is actually not good, If
yeah,
you come at them, not like they don't have quality, but I think there's something missing in that team, and they're not gelling as well as they used to gel. I think being in fourth place or second place or wherever they were then flattered them with the kind of game. Yeah, they won some really good games, but if you watch their game properly, they're neither here nor there. You can't guarantee anything that you're going to get from them. They could go back tomorrow and beat Liverpool 2-3-0 or Man City again, but at the same time, Chelsea can come and wire them as usual. They're just unpredictable, and they don't fight. You know, if you're losing, sometimes you see team fight. I don't see any fight in them at all. You just feel like they give up so easily. Like when they 1 or 2 goes down, you know, they just go for it.
As unpredictable as they are, I can predict one thing: they will always beat Manchester City. That they matter of fact, in my opinion, City taught the Premier League the formula to beat Manchester City. If you ask me, whenever City is going on a good run, Spurs to beat City. Yeah, when City is going on a good run, once they meet Spurs, that's the end of that run.
True.
So, I mean, hey, I think that's not very straightforward.
Personally, and this is unsolicited from a Chelsea fan to Tottenham. What I just saw here, because I was supporting Tottenham for 90 minutes against Arsenal.
Really,
I didn't want Arsenal to win the game. Of course, I don't hide that.
What is your bigger enemy, Tottenham or Arsenal?
It depends on what is happening. Yeah, but you know, on the grand scheme of things, because Arsenal is a much better team, I would say, it's Arsenal. But one thing I saw was, it's very difficult to support Tottenham. I mean, they heartbreak for their fans. I just wish them well.
Yeah.
Number two, and I was talking to my brother earlier today, and I said, you know that Thomas Frank's Brentford will not lose to Arsenal that way. They will fight. It will be a battle. They could lose, but it will be very marginal.
It won't just roll over.
It won't just roll over, exactly. So what has happened? I think Tottenham has entered Thomas Frank and not the other way around. And if that happens and that continues to happen, he's not going to last in that role.
They're very simple. They'll finish 17th again. It's not hard.
The whole idea is for you to get them out of the rut. But instead of that, you are going into the rut with them. I mean, what was that formation he started with Danso and back three? It was horrible. He gave all the creativity and impetus to Arsenal, and that's why you saw Arsenal controlling the game, especially in the first half. It could have been 4-0. They changed a little bit with Xavi Simons coming in, and they started to create some things and some spark in the midfield, but it was too late. So what we saw yesterday was Spurs being Spurs, even against their rival, their ultimate rival, they just couldn't. Let's go to the last game and start to wrap this up. Newcastle City. I saw a Newcastle team at home that is always difficult to beat. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're coming into St. James's Park, they're going to give you a game. And they gave City a game, on Saturday. I don't know what else Guardiola could have done. I thought the equalizer right away after they considered was really good. But Newcastle just didn't stop. They didn't stop. They just kept knocking, and they got the winning goal. And after that, I think they changed the system to a back five, and they just threw the key away. What do you guys see?
I think they've dropped only 2 points at home this season, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly,
no, they
lost to Liverpool at home.
At home?
Yeah. I think that was at St. James's Park. Yeah.
Oh, so Liverpool beat them. Okay. I guess guess they've lost 2 games at home is what I meant to say. That game was easily City could have said Newcastle could have gone maybe 4-2, 4-3 up in the first half. Very easily. Harvey Barnes had 2 beautiful chances. Walter Madre or Walter Mada had two beautiful chances.
What a
one
matter.
header like that guy. One
What a
crazy
matter.
header
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. We saw that, Phil Foden had a good chance as well as Haaland. They also had a couple of chances, good chances on the other end as well. But, they took the game to City. They were not going to sit back and let City dominate them. They were not going to do that. They all played to. I mean, it was a game where I'm sure even Pep Guardiola was quite surprised that Newcastle, in the current form that they are in, was able to play so aggressively against them. Even though it was at St. James's Park, because he would have thought, I'm sure he would have known it wasn't going to be a walkover, but it was a phenomenal game of football. I applaud Newcastle for taking the game to City and taking the 3 points from that game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But for me, I think of all the big four. Well, I'm excluding Man U here because they're not part of the big four.
No, we're not.
I think that's the team that played the most. Newcastle. You look at that team and it's not as if they have one major big star in that team, but it seems like they got some massive strength. People that could bully you.
I think they have the best midfield in the league.
You think they have the best midfield?
Yeah, I think so.
Because Joe Linton and
Joe
this other guy.
Bruno.
And
Bruno.
What's that guy's name again?
Bruno Guimaraes and what was the name of that Italian?
Guimaraes.
Tonali and
Guimaraes.
Yeah, those three. Yeah.
They're just so strong. I even when we went there, beat them. For me personally, I felt like maybe this is a sign that we're going to win the Premiership. Honestly, because they're so hard to play. I'm not taking anything away from Man City here. That team, you can't just get easy win against them. They're going to play and they're going to force you. I say you win, you're going to deserve that win. That's one thing I noticed about them. And for Man City, I think the other thing about them is Haaland. If Haaland doesn't score, I feel like they struggle. And I was looking at statistics as well. I think all the games that they've lost this season are the games in which Haaland hasn't scored. So it shows something like if that guy eventually got injured, they're going to be in trouble. That's just my observation here.
I agree with you.
But I just don't think they step up.
I agree with you, but there was also no spark in terms of creativity for City on the day. Remember, Doku was even taken out because he just.
Did you say no creativity?
There was very little. So there were. He didn't have a lot of chances.
But there's a reason why though.
Today. Maybe he had like one or two.
Exactly.
There was a reason why.
He didn't have a lot of chances.
There's a reason why.
That midfield, like we said again, they kind of neutralized them. They were just running them ragged. They were just running them ragged. So
difficult. It's not like the other team want to play bad. It's just that the strength of this team that you're playing would neutralize all your strength. And people look at you and think you're not playing well.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so let's round up. That the good thing about this season we're in is before you know it's weekend again. March week 13. We've picked like three games to review next weekend, and we have score call where we try to predict the result of the game for our followers and audience to learn from what we're thinking and then predict the games. So 3 games: Chelsea, Arsenal, Everton, Newcastle, and Crystal Palace, Man United. What are your predictions for those games?
Okay, let me start with the Chelsea one. When was the last time Chelsea beat Arsenal for?
It's been a long time. So just predict. Just predict.
Arsenal's going to win
2-0. Obviously I'm a Chelsea fan. I think Chelsea will win that game 2-1. But let's see what happens. What about Everton, Newcastle? What do you think we have?
Newcastle
we just spoke about Newcastle. Eh?
Yeah, Newcastle all day long. I feel like
Newcastle. You have the caveat is Newcastle is really bad away. Their away from this season has been horrible, and they are going to go to.
And Everton is quite good at home as well.
And Everton is quite good at home, so put that into perspective as well. What do you think?
I say a draw.
A draw, okay. What
1-1
score? 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw.
Sukkie, what do you think? Everton, Newcastle.
Everton, Newcastle. 2-1 Newcastle. They're gonna be motivated by this win against City.
So their
They'll
away
play
form will
better on the
suddenly
road.
go away.
I mean, they'll be motivated to play.
Everton will be motivated that they went to Old Trafford
Man U is
to
not a
win
Man U
United.
against Man U. You're happy you won Man U.
Okay, let's leave that. Crystal Palace United. I think this
Crystal
is
Palace.
straightforward.
Crystal Palace is
Crystal
going to
Palace.
beat Man U.
Crystal Palace United.
Yes, they'll beat Man U.
Scores.
They'll beat Man U.
What's your scores?
3-1. Crystal Palace.
3-1. I think 2-1 Crystal Palace.
Say 2-0.
Crystal Palace.
2-0 who to who?
Crystal Palace beating 2-0 to Crystal Palace.
What
right,
was your
thank you.
prediction?
Let's do one last thing. I want us to do a combined 11 Chelsea Arsenal, since Chelsea Arsenal is coming up. The way we do this for efficiency is that I'll allow you guys to decide. If the opinions are split, I would be the third person, to vote, and then that becomes the person that we pick for the combined 11. So let's start from the goalkeeper: Sanchez or Raya?
Raya
all day long.
Raya, okay. Right back: James or Timber?
James.
James and who?
Timber. Your Timber.
Timber, man. Damn.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Timber.
I'll break it. I think James as well. So
Fair.
left back: Calafiori or Cucurella?
Cucurella.
Okay. Center back: Saliba or Fofana?
Saliba.
Okay, Saliba. The other center back: Nkape. Is that how you call him? Or Chalobah?
I've not watched Nkape play too much. He hasn't played too many games, but
don't
played
judge
well
him
this
by
weekend,
Spurs,
though.
please. Don't judge him by Spurs.
Chalobah played. Nkape played well yesterday, though. To be honest,
Yeah,
he played well yesterday. I'll go with Nkape for this one.
Yeah. I never trust Chalobah, so Nkape all day for me.
Okay. I mean, putting trust in a guy that you never trust versus Chalobah, who has been playing in the Premier League for a long time. Let's leave it as that.
Yeah.
Midfield, and I did this deliberately to split things: Zubimendi or Caicedo?
Caicedo for me.
Bro, that's not a fair comparison, though. It's Caicedo.
No, but the way to do it, Zubimendi plays
position.
No, Zubimendi plays holding, and Caicedo is holding for Chelsea as well. So that's why.
Yeah.
Fair enough. He's Caicedo against anybody.
Caicedo, okay. Rice versus
Rice.
Enzo
Don't even
Fernandez.
bother Rice.
If you put Rice and Caicedo together and let's force a decision, it's Rice all day long.
Yeah, but we didn't do that. And then in front, Saka, Pedro Neto.
You know, I actually like
Saka,
Pedro
man.
Neto. I knew you were going to say, but I actually like Pedro Neto, funny enough. I really like him.
Saka,
I really like him. Actually, he plays a really good football on that right wing.
So are you going for Pedro Neto?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So Pedro Neto,
why your
Saka.
reasons, though?
I will do Saka. I'll do Saka.
Thank you.
Like I said, I know you most people will go for Saka, but
I'm a fair guy. Yeah.
I personally like Pedro Neto. I'm
not saying it's a bad player, but for me,
he's not a bad player by any stretch of the imagination. He's one of the best players right now. Do you understand? I think he's one of the best.
Trossard, Estevao.
This is a funny comparison. I don't see. I can't compare Trossard with Estevao. I don't know why. It's just a very funny comparison. But
they both play. They both play in the wing. So
Trossard, experience.
Sorry, bro.
Trossard.
He's in good form right now.
You picked experience now, but you say Nkape. Okay, it's fine. Let's be consistent. We always tell the referees officials to be consistent. Let's be consistent. Eze, João Pedro.
Eze.
Sorry, bro. Eze all day long.
But there's nothing.
and
What are you apologizing for?
Mari-
They make no
Marino
bet
Delap.
now, is it?
Merino
Delap.
Marino too.
Marino. Okay. Thank you for Tolu, again, thank you for coming to the show. We enjoyed your biased analysis.
I'll
But
do it again.
I'm sure you're proud of it. No problem with that at
I'll
all.
do it again if you invite me. It's all
Exactly.
gonna all day go
I
to
know you
Gaia.
very well.
Thank you guys so much for
Yeah, guys,
for
if
the
you've
invite
not
as well. Really enjoyed
subscribed,
the
please
conversation.
hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of our content. So Tolu,
All right,
we'll bring you again.
Thank you,
Maybe
guys.
when Arsenal finally wins the league.
Thank you.